Have you ever visited someone and walked out feeling more tired than when you arrived? Maybe your head was heavy or your heart just didn't feel right. You couldn't quite explain it, but you knew something about the visit took something from you instead of giving anything back. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. As we grow older, one thing becomes more valuable than almost anything else: peace of mind. It's not about having a busy social calendar or saying yes to every invitation. It's about protecting the calm you've earned. Because peace is not just a feeling, it's a kind of health. It helps you sleep better, think clearly, and stay emotionally strong. That peace should be guarded, especially during the later chapters of life. But sometimes we give it away without realizing it. We go on visits that feel polite or expected, but they leave us drained. Some of them are with people we've known for years. Others seem harmless, but take a toll on us afterward. These kinds of visits may not look harmful on the surface, but underneath, they slowly chip away at our emotional strength and joy. That's what this video is about. Today, we'll talk about 4 types of visits that can quietly steal your peace. They're not always obvious. In fact, they often seem normal or even friendly. But if you've ever felt off after spending time with certain people, this message is for you. We'll look at what these visits feel like, why they can be harmful, and most importantly, what you can do about them. Because your time is valuable, your energy is limited, and your peace is worth protecting. So make yourself comfortable, and let's begin. It's time to choose peace, and it starts by recognizing what takes it away. Let's begin with one of the most common and often most damaging kinds of visits. The one that leaves you feeling surrounded by negativity. You might not even notice it at first. It can start off like any regular conversation. But as the minutes pass, the mood turns dark. The person you're visiting begins to gossip, complain, or speak badly about others. Maybe they talk about people they barely know. Maybe they criticize everyone in their family. Maybe every topic turns into something negative. You sit there listening, nodding politely, but inside, you feel something change. Your body is still in the room, but your mind starts to grow tired. These kinds of visits may seem harmless, but they slowly take away your calm. You might leave thinking, "Why do I feel so heavy?" Or "Why am I in a bad mood now?" One of the clearest signs you've had a negative visit is how you feel afterward. You may notice a strange kind of tiredness. Not the kind that makes you want to sleep, but the kind that makes you want to be alone, away from the noise. You may even notice that your thoughts have become more negative too. Perhaps you start complaining yourself. Or you replay what the other person said and feel uneasy. It's like the weight of their words is still hanging around, even though the conversation is over. This happens because energy is shared during every visit. When someone is constantly negative, that energy spreads to you. You absorb it, especially if you're someone who listens with kindness and care. Over time, this can affect your health, your sleep, your peace of mind, and even your own outlook on life. Another way you might spot the damage is by noticing small changes in your own speech. You might start using the same bitter tone. You might talk about people the way they did. You may even become more critical or more impatient without realizing it. That's how strong negativity can be. It can sneak into your spirit if you're not careful. The good news is that you don't have to accept these kinds of visits. It's okay to limit how much time you spend with people who only bring complaints and bad energy. You don't need to cut them out completely, but you can shorten the visit, change the subject, or even take longer breaks between seeing them. Instead, seek out people who make you feel lighter, not heavier. People who talk about ideas, joys, memories, or hopes, not just problems. Choose visits that leave you feeling heard, respected, and uplifted. Peace comes when we spend time with those who value it too. So the next time you're about to visit someone, ask yourself, how do I usually feel after seeing them? That small question can help you protect your peace, your mood, and your well-being. Because at this stage of life, you deserve to feel lighter, not weighed down. Some visits don't just make you tired, they leave you feeling upset, stressed, or even hurt. These are the visits that bring drama or conflict. They can come from people who are close to you, like a family member who always brings up old arguments, or a friend who knows just how to get under your skin. Maybe they enjoy stirring things up, or maybe they don't even realize how much their words affect you. But every time you see them, something unpleasant happens. You might go into the visit hoping it will be calm. Maybe you think, this time will be different. But before long, they bring up something painful. It could be something that happened years ago. It could be a disagreement that never got solved. Or they might make a rude or hurtful comment that feels like a little jab. Sometimes it's direct, like yelling or arguing. Other times it's quiet, but sharp, like sarcasm or cold behavior. Either way, you walk away feeling tense. Even a short visit like that can stay with you. Your heart might feel heavy. Your mind might keep going over what they said, wondering why they brought it up or how you could have responded. You may even lose sleep over it, or feel upset for days. That's not just in your head. Stress like this can affect your body too. It can raise your blood pressure, mess with your sleep, or even cause headaches and tension in your muscles. As we grow older, we need more peace, not more problems. Our bodies and minds need rest, not more stress. That's why it's important to be careful about who we spend time with. Your home should be a place where you feel safe and relaxed. It shouldn't be the place where you try to recover after someone has stirred up bad feelings. If you know someone always brings conflict or drama, it's okay to make changes. Start by setting gentle boundaries. You don't have to argue or explain yourself. Just avoid certain topics that you know lead to trouble. Keep the conversation light. If they try to push, you can politely change the subject or take a break. And most importantly, give yourself permission to say no. You are not required to visit people who make you feel bad. You are not being rude or selfish. You are taking care of yourself, and that is something to be proud of. Peace is not a luxury. It is a need, and you are allowed to protect it. So if there is someone who always brings tension into your life, ask yourself, do I feel better or worse after spending time with them? If the answer is worse, then it may be time to spend less time with them or change the way you interact. You've earned the right to choose peace. Some visits don't look harmful on the surface, but they slowly take a toll on you. These are the visits where someone is always asking for something: your time, your energy, your attention, but rarely, if ever, gives anything back. Maybe they expect you to listen to all their problems. Maybe they constantly need favors, help, or comfort, but they don't ask how you're doing. They don't seem to notice if you're tired or overwhelmed. These kinds of visits can feel one-sided, and over time, they become very heavy. You might tell yourself that you're just being kind, that helping others is the right thing to do, and often it is. But when the giving only goes one way, and you're always the one carrying the emotional weight, it can quietly start to wear you down. You may leave the visit feeling exhausted not because of anything physical, but because you've been emotionally drained. These visits may happen with people you care about deeply. It might be a family member who relies on you too much. It might be an old friend who only calls when they need something. It may even be someone who sees you as strong and dependable, and because of that, they keep coming to you without realizing they're leaving you empty. Over time, this kind of one-way relationship can lead to real problems. You might start to feel resentful, even though you don't want to. You might feel guilty for being tired or for not wanting to help. You might begin to notice signs of stress in your own body: aches, poor sleep, or constant fatigue. If you've been in a caregiver role for a long time, this kind of stress can also lead to burnout. It can feel like you're carrying the weight of someone else's life, with no one helping to carry yours. The reason these visits steal your peace is simple. You are constantly pouring from your own cup, but nothing is being poured back in. You give your time, your listening ear, your care, and in return, you get silence when you need help, or indifference when you're not at your best. That's not how healthy connection works. Real friendship and family bonds involve mutual care and understanding. When all your time and energy goes to someone else, you lose the chance to care for your own needs. You have less space for your own healing, your own growth, and your own joy. And the longer this pattern goes on, the more you begin to feel like your own life is getting smaller and smaller. But the cycle can be broken, and it starts by paying attention to how you feel. After you visit or speak with this person, ask yourself, do I feel better or worse? That one question can tell you a lot. If you always feel worse, tired, upset, or like you've just given everything and gotten nothing, then it's time to make a change. You don't need to end the relationship completely, but you can create what's called gracious distance. This means you still care, but you no longer give all of yourself away. You answer the phone less often. You shorten the visits. You gently shift the focus back to balance. You remind yourself that your energy is limited and precious. Some relationships are only meant to last for a season. Others need to be reshaped as we grow. You are allowed to change how you interact with people who take more than they give. You're not being cold or selfish. You're choosing to protect your health, your time, and your peace. You've spent a lifetime being there for others. Now it's time to also be there for yourself. Let your days be filled with people who see you, care about you, and give back to you, not just those who keep reaching for more. Peace doesn't always mean silence. Sometimes peace means balance. And it begins when you learn that not every visit and not every relationship needs to stay the same. Some visits hurt not because of what is said, but because of what is missing. You show up, hoping for connection, conversation, or simply a moment of shared time. But instead, you're met with silence, distracted glances, or one-sided talk. Maybe the person scrolls through their phone the entire time. Maybe they speak only about themselves, never once asking how you're doing. You sit there politely, smiling, nodding, trying to feel included, but deep down, you feel invisible. This kind of visit is one of the hardest. On the surface, you're with someone. You're not alone physically, but emotionally, you couldn't feel more distant. There's no warmth, no real attention, no care in their tone or interest in your life. It's not always mean-spirited. Sometimes people are just busy or caught up in their own world. But to be in the same room as someone and still feel lonely is a kind of sadness that stays with you. And it does damage over time. Emotional disconnection is not easy to talk about, but it can be more painful than being completely alone. At least when you're by yourself, you know what to expect. But when you're with someone and you still feel unseen, it can stir up deeper emotions. It might remind you of relationships you've lost. It might make you wonder if you still matter to the people around you. These visits can bring quiet pain, feelings of being forgotten, left out, or no longer needed. They steal your peace in subtle but real ways. Instead of feeling better, you leave feeling unsure of your place. You might start questioning your worth. You might wonder, did they even notice I was there? Or why do I feel more alone now than before I came? That kind of emptiness is not something you can always explain, but it touches something deep inside. As we get older, real connection becomes more important than ever. We've already lived through many changes. Children growing up, friends moving away, loved ones passing on. So when a visit reminds us more of what we've lost than what we still have, it takes something away from us. It's a quiet kind of heartbreak. But we are not powerless. We can choose how and where we spend our time. And we can choose to seek out places and people who see us, hear us, and value us. There are many people of all ages who want meaningful connection. You might find them in a book club, a walking group, a local community center, or even in a small act of volunteering. These are the places where presence matters, where voices are heard, and where shared moments are real. You deserve to spend time with people who truly notice when you're there. People who care how your week was. People who listen, not just speak. It's not about having deep conversations every time. Sometimes it's just about being seen, being welcomed, being appreciated. So if you've been going on visits that make you feel lonelier, take a step back. You don't need to explain or feel guilty. Just remember that your time, your energy, and your presence are all valuable. And you deserve to share them with people who treat them that way. Not all company is good company. And sometimes, choosing to be with yourself is better than sitting beside someone who makes you feel invisible. You have value. You have stories. You have wisdom. Let your time be shared with those who see that too. Protecting your peace is not about avoiding people or becoming distant from others. It's about making thoughtful choices that protect your energy, your emotions, and your well-being. As we grow older, peace becomes more than just a nice feeling. It becomes something we need in order to stay strong, balanced, and healthy. And the good news is, peace is something you can protect once you start recognizing what takes it away and what brings it back. One of the first steps is to notice how certain visits make you feel. After spending time with someone, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, how do I feel after being with this person? Do I feel refreshed, or do I feel drained? Do I feel happy and calm, or do I feel tense and unsettled? These little check-ins can tell you a lot. If you find yourself feeling worse after certain visits, that's an important pattern to notice. You don't have to make a big decision right away, but simply being aware is the beginning of change. Next, it's helpful to create gentle emotional boundaries. A boundary is not a wall. It's a line that helps protect what matters to you. Some people worry that setting boundaries is rude, but it's not. In fact, it's one of the kindest things you can do for yourself. Your time and your peace are limited and valuable, and it's okay to protect them. As we age, stress affects us more deeply, so we need to be even more mindful of what we allow into our space. If someone always brings conflict or negative energy, It's wise to limit those visits or guide the conversation toward lighter topics. You don't have to explain or defend your choices. Quietly protecting your peace is enough. Another important step is to stop waiting for others to change. You may wish that a certain friend would finally learn to listen, or that a family member would stop bringing up the past. But sometimes, change doesn't come. And when it doesn't, you have to ask yourself, how much longer am I willing to let their behavior affect my peace? You cannot control what others do or say, but you can control how often you allow yourself to be around it. You can reduce the time, change the topic, or create space. Peace begins when you stop trying to fix others and start protecting your own spirit. Finally, choose visits that bring calm, joy, or warmth. You don't need big, fancy plans. Sometimes the most peaceful moments come from a slow walk with a kind friend or a cup of tea shared in silence. Maybe it's time spent in a garden, at a quiet gathering, or even in a group where people read, pray, or talk about ideas. Surround yourself with people who see you, hear you, and treat you with kindness. These are the kinds of visits that fill your cup rather than empty it. Peace is not a luxury. It is your right. And it is especially important in this chapter of life. You've earned your calm. You've lived through storms. You deserve to spend the years ahead in a space that feels good to your heart and soul. Let every visit, every phone call, every invitation be filtered through one simple question. Will this protect my peace or steal it? When you start living with that awareness, everything begins to shift. The world doesn't feel as heavy. The days feel a little brighter. And even when life gets hard, your inner calm remains steady. That is the power of protecting your peace. Your peace is sacred. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. That may sound strong, but it's true. You've lived long enough to know that not every visit is good for your spirit. Some people bring warmth and comfort, while others leave behind stress, noise, or doubt. And the more you start paying attention to how each visit makes you feel, the easier it becomes to protect your peace. You are not being unkind by stepping away from draining relationships. You are simply choosing what's right for you. You're choosing peace over pressure, calm over conflict, and joy over guilt. That's a healthy choice. That's a wise choice. And it's one you fully deserve to make. This week, try something small but powerful. Say no to just one visit that drains you. Maybe it's the phone call you don't want to answer. Maybe it's a gathering that always leaves you feeling off. Give yourself the space to step back. Then say yes to something that fills you up. Maybe a walk with someone who listens. Maybe a quiet moment with a good book. Maybe a visit to someone who makes you feel appreciated. You'll be surprised how much of a difference it makes. Which type of visit do you struggle with most? Is it the one filled with drama? The one that leaves you feeling lonely, even in company? Or maybe it's the friend who always takes and never gives. Let's talk about it in the comments. You are not alone in this, and your experiences might help someone else feel seen too. If this message resonated with you, give it a like and share it with someone who also deserves more peace in their life. We all need reminders like this, especially as we get older. And don't forget to subscribe. This channel is here to help you age well with wisdom, calm, and confidence. We talk about what really matters. And your peace is one of those things.